What's going on YouTube? WildLion Games here, and we are back with another honest review, this time checking out Axis Football 21 by Axis Studios, a small indie company who have made waves across the internet with their dazzling franchise mode, but it's franchise mode enough to carry this game through another year. Let's find out. Now, again, before we get started, check the timestamps below if you want to jump ahead to specific segments. And I'm going to give a quick background on my experience with Axis Football in an attempt to stay as objective as possible. Axis 2020 was my first time playing the game, and as always, a new game is usually pretty exciting for the most part, new things to experience, new gameplay, and while it had its issues and its downsides, overall I thought Axis 20 was a positive experience. But the big question is, if you own Axis Football 20 or even Axis Football 19, is this new iteration in 2021 worth your hard-earned money? Alright, now let's officially start. Let's talk about sound first because this will be quick. Let's listen.
Welcome, football fans, to Glendale, Arizona. I'm Dave Stevens, and analyst Mike Steele is in the booth with me as always. Touchdown!
That run is a clear case of the defense underestimating the speed of the runner. He just shot right past them for the touchdown.
It's good. Denver striking first.
So, if you've played Axis Football before, you'll find the on-field sound design and commentary hasn't changed at all. From my understanding, it's been the same duo for a while now, and in my opinion, it needs to change. The commentary is stale, and the sounds on the field fall flat. You heard it yourself just now. I don't think it needs a deep analysis, so let's go over the good stuff. New this year in Axis Football 21 is the ability to create a game plan based on the down and distance, something that hardcore football strategists, I'm not really sure. I think it's strategists, right? Anyway, doesn't matter. Those gamers, they're gonna love this, right? And those who like to spectate games will love it even more. And those who run like the Axis Football leagues, they're gonna love this, and that's gonna be great. You can go in and you can change the play call type on every down and distance from first and short to fourth and long, everything in between. And I'm not just talking about run and pass, but I'm talking about the type of passing play, the type of run play, whether it's inside, outside, short, medium, long, play action, draw, all of that stuff's in there. And what you're doing is you're setting the percentage of what the AI is going to call. So this, if you really want to get down into the nitty gritty and, you want to recreate teams and, one team is just like known for being ground and pound, well, you can change the AI of that team to call mostly inside run. It's really cool. We haven't seen anything like this really since NFL 2K5. When in 2K5 you could create the entire practice schedule for the week and choose, they're watching film, you're picking their workouts. And yes, the practice focus and intensity is still there and still relevant in Axis Football 21. But having that AI play calling adjustment, that's just, that really is next level, and we haven't seen that amount of depth since ESPN 2K5, so that's really cool. Love the feature. It's a really nice addition in the game plan week to week. I think to bring this to the next level, then you need to bring in actual game planning where you can look at your opponent's tendencies and see what they usually run on defense or usually call on offense, and then adjust your AI tendencies on offense and defense. Because I know I just talked about offense a lot, about what you can run on all the different down and distances, but it works the same for defense too. You can select what type of defense the AI will run for your team on a certain down and distance. We're talking some real stuff here, dude. It's really cool. Another big new addition is the ability to create a custom team inside the game without having to use mods. This is really nice, especially for console players. From the name to the logos, the jersey and helmet designs, it's all there. There's even some extra cool features like being able to, do the old school Raiders and have a baseball field as your football field. And, even if you want to do the blue Boise State field and like some various twists with different color turfs, like purple, and you can do it. Really cool. Team creation brings new life to franchise mode and to the game, honestly. But unfortunately, it comes up a little bit short with a glaring just element that's not included in this, and that's you can't add your team logo to the helmet. I mean, this kind of seems like an obvious element. I mean, the logo of the team that you create is one of the most important features, and you can't put it on your helmet. I don't know how you leave that out as a developer. I mean, I'm sorry, a logo, like I said, it's an essential part of creating a team. And guess what else is? A team name. So why can't I add my team name or the team city to the chest plate of the jersey? It's just really weird, man. I don't know. It seems small, but it's these little details you have to pay attention to in order to be great. I use the same analogy in sports when I was coaching football. It's like doing the little things right. It's what elevates you to the next level. And here, Axis does not pay attention to the little details. And, the jerseys just look oddly empty. The helmets are all blank. And it's nice that you can create, dozens of uniform combinations. But, why can't I put my logo? I mean, there's all this extra stuff, but I can't put my logo. And again, I know it seems small, but still, it's like, what's the point then? Another bad I would say is that scouting is still pointless. I mean, if you go into like the draft preview or whatever it is, like you can see all the players' full stats. So there's no incentive for you to go in and scout by region because you can see the players' attributes without scouting them, which is kind of a bummer because the whole scouting by region and having scouting points to spend every week, I mean, it's a nice strategy that could be implemented in the game, but when the strategy doesn't matter, then, again, it's like, what's the point? But with that transition, let's get to the burning question, and that's gameplay. If you hopped onto this review hoping to see a revamped game, I'm sorry to report that you'd be mistaken. If you couldn't tell already by watching the video, the game looks and plays pretty much the exact same. Now, I will admit before I continue, there are some small changes under the hood that, the naked eye can't see. Unless you're really paying attention to what the defense is doing. But unfortunately, the physics and animations just kind of get in the way of this newly revamped AI that you can't appreciate it as much as you should be able to. Players still run through each other. I'm not really sure how or where the tackling animations exist in this game. The players just kind of simply collide into each other, much like the previous iterations. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just kind of keep running, and I haven't really figured out what causes tackling to happen. And, I know the Axis team is hard at work, but the gameplay is just not there. It feels like an old PlayStation 1 Madden or old Nintendo 64 game, but without that nostalgia factor. At first, when I played Axis 20, it's easy to pass it by, say the gameplay is okay. But then when you turn around and you go and play a game like, All Pro Football 2K8, it is just glaringly obvious how behind Axis is on gameplay. All Pro Football 2K8 is light years ahead as far as player movement, defensive zones in the pass game, the offensive line being able to form a pocket, the animations. And I get it. That might be an unfair comparison because on multiple levels, 2K is even light years. 2K8 is light years ahead of Madden 22. But even when we look at Madden 22, whose gameplay I just ripped in my review, it's one of the worst Maddens ever, if not the worst one. Axis Football doesn't look any better. Some listeners might say I'm being too harsh and that they're just an independent studio, and I get all that. They're a small team. But if I'm being honest, I can't give them a pass just because they're a small studio. When you've been making the same football game for as long as they have, it gets to a point where the gameplay needs to see a very drastic improvement from where they began, and they have failed to do that. This game needs a lot of love, and the Axis team has a lot of work ahead of them to fix gameplay to really give themselves a chance. So here we go for the final verdict. How do I rate Axis Football 21? Usually I have some creative rating that I like to give out, but I really don't have anything for this one. This is a holdout. You know how when the players union holds out and they refuse to play in the NFL or the NHL is probably more newsworthy of doing something like that, or even the NBA. This is a holdout. Hold out until the next one, until they give you a better deal. Because right now I cannot get on my YouTube channel and recommend this game for $30. I just can't. It really pains me to say that because I really want this game to succeed. But if you're an owner of Axis 19 or Axis 20, I just don't see this as a $30 upgrade for you. If you really want to use the AI game calling function that I talked about, and that's an important feature to you, then fine. You know what? Go for it. But when I play this game and I see the new stuff it has to offer, I can't see where that strategic play calling and the custom teams is worth $30. And I know they changed some things under the hood as far as how the AI behaves, and you can't really game the system anymore like you could in the old game. They're much smarter, and I understand that. But unfortunately for Axis, it might be too little too late. And this is why I say this. 2K football comes out next year. Unless something crazy happens, we will have a 2K football game 12 months from right now, maybe less. Madden will also be out with a football game. If Axis wanted to make a statement, I think this was their year to do so. And failing to have improved gameplay for another year is really going to hurt their sales and really going to hurt marketing for the future games. I mean, it's tough to take on Madden as it is. Even as bad as Madden is, it's still tough to take them on. You have to be flawless because you don't have an NFL license. And that is really tough to do. And now they're going to have to take on 2K next year. And I know the devs have come out and said that their focus is going to be gameplay fixes. But like I said, it might be too late. I think those gameplay fixes needed to come this year. And, if you're okay with the PlayStation 1 style play, then, this game should be great for you. But for me, like, I can't sit here with a good conscience and recommend this game for $30. If all of a sudden I woke up tomorrow and the price dropped to, $10 or $15, yeah, I would definitely upgrade from Axis Football 20 to 21 for 10 or $15. But for 30, I'm gonna hold out. So that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content, hit that subscribe button for me. And I appreciate you all watching. If you made it this far, thank you again. And man, if you made it this far, you should definitely hit the like button, right? I mean, if you didn't turn it off right away, then had to be kind of good. Anyways, yeah, that's it. I'll quit talking. Y'all have a good week. Peace.